and a bottle of rum. Summertime. Mama, she again chop. Is it a king? Is it a princess? So you see me generation travel through this trap. 16.
Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, South, South Central in Trinidad. Our friends in Tobago and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, this is, of course, the nightly edition, or one of the nightly edition, the Wednesday, to be more precise, edition of the Corridor Transformation. Your hosts, plural, Lennox Smith and Joshua Smith, senior and junior. Yes, indeed. But let's see a little more about, of course, the long time ago, because tonight we are focusing on the fact that if we try, we can make it.
Don't even mention the big boot kick quick. That's why we know we have to get the victory. See them all lock up the tongue, why got chip quick. Oh, it's too slippery.
Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night once again to all and sundry. And of course, sorry once again for the tardiness, but you know, last night I had to preempt. And things, when you are waiting on something and it is manifesting, materializing before your very eyes, not just excitement is generated, but the anxiety to move expeditiously, to go forward, because you want to do it in the interest of your fellow men and women. There could be nothing more rewarding than altruistic. Yes, there could be nothing more rewarding than paying homage, tribute, and service to your fellow men and women. Could be nothing more. I think the Greek call it agape love. Love so deep, so broad, so wide, so inclusive that you see your fellow men like yourself, and therefore you will do unto others that which you will do for yourself. Or put another way, you will not do unto others that which you will not like others to do unto you. But that is enough philosophizing. Yes, indeed. Of course, I want to begin by saying that the excitement continues. Like Joshua, sick if he's sick, let him come off the set number. All right, but let me before I further ignite your or expand your excitement, let's introduce Joshua, and I want to ask him a few questions. But good night, Joshua, and of course, how, as usual, was your school day today? Because that is a part of the effort to try to motivate and encourage, particularly folks, children, as well as parents and family and neighbors in this part of the country. Are talking about East Port of Spain, and more specifically, a name that is dreaded internationally, a name called Nelson Street, which of course is part and parcel of every advisory against Trinidad and Tobago. The only street that is mentioned in any advisory against Trinidad and Tobago that visitors must not visit. And we intend to neutralize, to erode, and to, of course, reverse that tendency for countries to tell their citizens who may be coming to Trinidad either for investment or for holiday or as a tourist or as visitors, not to visit that place. We want to make it visitable. We want to make it hospitable. We want to make it so salubrious to entertain, of course, anybody that comes into the country. But that is enough for that. I just thought I would say that. But a pleasant good night, Joshua. And how was your day today?
Hey everybody, well, good night everybody.
Yes. Go ahead.
Well, we're not doing any test on Friday again. So last week we were supposed to do test.
Uh-huh.
Now this week we can't do test again.
Why? Was there a reason for it?
Yeah, the field trip.
So there's a field trip that would cause the postponement of tests. All right, go ahead. Let me find out why is that.
We're doing test on Tuesday.
Oh, you're doing tests on Tuesday. Oh, so there is a test. I thought you would have, well, not do tests because of a field trip. I want to know, well, if the field trip itself would have been a test. And so, of course, there is some kind of combination. Well, according to the dictates or the reasoning of the teachers and the school. All right, so tests will start on Tuesday instead. All right, I trust that some of you may have already started tests in your respective schools. Well, of course, best of luck. And what you need, Joshua, tell me, what do you have to do in order to make certain that you do well in the test? What do you have to do?
Revise, and revise.
Oh, okay, right, beautiful. I thought. All right, okay. And what revision is? What the action of revision is what? Is obvious, is a action word, so it is what part of speech? A verb, right. So what constitutes revision? What you have to do, because it's a do. But you have to
look at his spellings, all I note, take up in your bag, get a pencil, see if you could trace everything down and see if you could get it.
This fella could give good advice, you know. I wonder if you're taking those advice. Because today, I had to tell him, if you have revision to do, and he said spelling, I said, well, all right, well, go ahead. So I went out he didn't know I was going for about 5 minutes. I just went round the block to come back. And I left him with the notebook that he has the spelling in. And when I came back, he was nowhere to be found. In about 10 minutes, I exaggerated, about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. So I went on some kind of
I went inside.
Yeah, let me hear the excuse, yeah. You went inside there?
I won't know this excuse because.
But why after I left?
Mommy went inside.
Uh-huh.
So I went inside with the book.
Uh-huh.
I advised mommy, I come outside.
Uh-huh.
Now after you see me. And now after I had a blackout for 2 times.
All right, well, the blackout came after I returned and didn't see you there. All right, so you went inside with your revision book and you were revising inside. All right, okay. I accept that because I didn't see him where we are in the studio, and I thought that he should be there where I left him, but I understand that now. Okay, all right. Well, on the last occasion, quickly, Joshua, because you just have about 2 or 3 minutes again. We did words that are similar in sound, but different in spelling. That's all. And we call them homophones. Homonyms. I'll tell you why I say homophones. Homophones is very directly related to words that are similar in sound, but they are spelled differently. Homonyms, however, is a different kettle of fish. Yeah, and we will examine that tonight. But suffice it to say, homophones are words that are similar in sound, but different in spelling. Could you give me an example of that? Similar in song, but different in spelling. Last time we did pear. Any other? Yeah?
That.
That? T-H-A-T?
Yeah.
And what other word that song like that? Because some of the song like, that's a song similar.
If you kind of miss it, you kind of sound like
You're like, what?
Matt.
Matt. Well, that Matt. All right, all right, all right, all right. I'll accept that. There's some kind of closeness in song. All right. So you have Pierre. You have any other that you want to share with us, or you want me to give you?
Here.
All right. Okay. Here. Well, what about here?
Here.
Here. H-E-A-R is what here? Yeah? H-E-A-R. H-E-A-R.
Oh, here.
What's that? What here is that?
H-E-A-R.
Yeah, what here is that?
Here?
You the present?
Yeah.
Yes, I know all you know already, you know. But let me hear again. H-E-A-R. Let me scratch my ears, Let me scratch my ears. Let me scratch my ears. Here, H-E-A-R. Let me scratch my ears. Let me scratch my ears. What here is that? I refer you to today. Let me scratch my ear. Let me scratch my ears. Let me scratch my ears. Well, what here is that? H-E-A-R is what?
I think it's this
Oh boy, I scratching my ears and he's saying it's this year. Eh? That one is H-A-I-R.
I don't know.
The one on the head is H-A-I-R. But I'm scratching my ears, and I'm saying here, H-E-A-R. Boy, to listen to, boy, to use your ears.
Oh,
Eh, not so?
I
I
forget
hear
what
it. Yeah, you forget it. All right, no problem. That is how it goes, yeah. So H-E-A-R is to listen to hear something, yeah, H-E-A-R.
I forget about that here.
H-E-A-R.
I know here.
You know here? All right, okay, well.
No, wait. I know here.
Uh-huh.
Here.
I spell that here, let me hear that. Spell that here, let me hear. Spell that here, let me H-E-A-R. Spell that here on your head. Since you know that. Let me hear. Let me hear. You spell here.
H-I.
It's I.
No.
Yeah. Quick boy, you know how much time?
Okay. H-A-I-R.
That's right. H-A-I-R. Here. H-A-I-R. Here. Right? Hmm? All right? All right. Growth of thread-like structures. Thread-like structures. Here. H-A-I-R. All right. And spell here. We are sitting here right now. Yeah? Am I here? Yes. H what? Yes, H-E-R-E. Very good, right. So, now that we know that these are words that sound alike, but spelled differently, because you can't tell me that you want to say, I am sitting here, and then you spell it H-A-I-R. You're coming from? That is a piece of madness. That's all students out there. So just run through the different here. Let me hear. The one to listen to is, how you spell that here?
H-A-I-R.
To listen to the use.
H-A-I-R.
So what about, so the one on the head is what then? All right. Sometimes you get mixed up. And that is all right as well. Right? Just as Joshua appeared to be mixed up, well, you could, but let's see if we could put it in perspective. Let's see if we can correct that. H-E-A-R, you listen. H-E-A-R, you listen. Joshua, am I here? What, the one here is what?
H-E-A-R.
Come on, don't sound like if you, right, H-E-A-R, committed to memory, man. Right, because education is about The fellow who can remember the most is the person who gets the most marks, and and he moves on to the next stage faster. All right, and here on your head, he has gray hair, he has black hair. How you spell that here?
Hair.
That's right, Hair. And then we are sitting here. Yeah? Here. And there are other words, Yeah, like a rabbit-like an animal, they call it a hare. Yeah, that's what you're talking about, right? And then I think it's at least one more here. All right, okay. If it's so, it's so. All right. At any rate, I think we got the gist that you cannot say HERE and referring to hair on your head. I combed my hair this morning. If you say that here is HERE, because Miss are going to test you or so, and then you will obviously be wrong. All right? All right. Anything you want to share with us before you leave? Because some very exciting information for those who want to come online and begin the process of course, calls. Yeah. Come here. So you have to go and sleep. You have to get ready for school tomorrow.
Okay, so we have field trip on Friday.
Uh-huh.
We had tomorrow is the deadline for money.
All right. Okay. Well, that's my responsibility. So tomorrow is the deadline. So let me make everybody see that I given it. How much it is?
$100 and all because we have
100 and all, right.
because we had to get the toner money.
They get toner, and they got to get money for toner as well. All right, good. So let me make sure, because mommy and daddy, that is our responsibility. We have to make sure that they get the tools to learn. So I have a $100 bill on the, yes, here, and this is the $100 bill. All you're seeing all over the world that I'm giving Joshua $100. Yes, $100, because mommy and daddy and them have to do the same thing. And I want to say, for some it is difficult, $100. But I'll tell you what. So you just hush. I'll tell you what. If you are really, really, really committed to your child's education, you will always put something aside for that day, because these days schools take, a lot of money, small but a lot, frequently, right? And you know, there are some things that you could do without, but the field trip I think is important for going for him, advancing in his biology and social studies and so on, types of animals and all of that, right? So there it is. Collect your $100 on everybody in the world is seeing, right?
Thank you.
Right, beautiful. You say thank you. All right. So, any parting words so quickly?
Bye.
Bye-bye. Right, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yes, indeed.
But wait, on the field trip, you have to give me, you have to pack up a lunch.
Well, put us in the classroom so you will see one time the classroom, the virtual classroom that we have. You'll see there. And of course, we can do some writing and all that on the board at the appropriate time. I promise this week that we will be starting classes, but unfortunately, disappointment comes. Why? Because based on the announcement I have to make, and only last night, of course, I had to cut the program in order to get that fully organized. So tomorrow we have a special session. I will share that with you tomorrow. But of course, this is what we will be doing. As part of the program, we try to separate it, and especially on a Saturday, probably on a Sunday, we'll do it a little earlier so that the kids can get involved. But we're trying to make it as exciting as possible, right? Like tonight, don't believe that you have to be perfect, because you are in a learning process, and no parent should be annoyed, because like Joshua tonight, he couldn't discern the word hear. And of course, even though I was giving him a sign, HEAR, to listen to it. Right? All right.
I don't know what I was catching there for.
Yeah, I realize that. All right, because you couldn't catch him. I'm sure that there were students out there that would have caught up with it because I was giving you a clue that here, look at my ears here. All right.
I don't know what he was doing. You say again, Marco, I want to know what he was like.
All right, okay. All right, well, have fun tomorrow. Have fun tomorrow as well. Go ahead, quickly. Oh, so but you have to carry the money in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you have your money.
Okay, so I'll go field trip. I'll pack snack, water, juice,
That's the next expense again. Parents,
and food.
the parents, I'm sure you are familiar with that. All right, so that's my responsibility again.
And the teacher say that box lunch not coming to the zoo.
Oh,
Lunch is never come to the zoo.
all right, okay. So the bucks have to go somewhere, but.
And you have to give my money to win snack bag.
All right, okay. We'll talk, that we will talk off air. All right, bye-bye. See you later. All right. Yes. All right, people. So, of course, Joshua will make his departure. Yes, lift up. Yeah. Okay. Then. All right. So, there we have it. Of course, the line is open, but before that, of course, I know that you didn't hear what I have to deliver. Joshua, go to bed, please, or go and finish study or revise your spelling, as you said. All right. Last night, as you know, Khadija Allen, Honorable Khadija Amin, Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, called me, of course, to find contact with, of course, our candidate, Robert Mitchell, who will be presented with his instruments of appointment to be on the Rural Development Company tomorrow. That will take place around 1 o'clock tomorrow. And a delegation from Love will be, of course, in attendance. And I want to say here from here and this platform, congratulations to him. But more importantly, is a victory for grassrootsism. Let me repeat, it's a victory for grassrootsism. You see, nobody would have thought that a fella from Parsley Street in Laventille could move from that corner or that a very, what I consider to be inhospitable environment to the boardroom of a state enterprise as a director. That is the ambition we must be focusing on. That is the motivation we must give to our young people. But it couldn't happen just like that. There were two major factors that caused that to happen. And I think the one that is most common and pivotal, because we could have easily been told no. So we must accept and thank, of course, the political leader of the UNC, the present Honorable Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamala Persad Bissessa, and her party, the UNC. You see, we went in there as a party that is dedicated to just 3 seats, so no way we could have gotten a victory to say that we could become prime minister, or somebody could become prime minister, or we could win sufficient seats to make that happen. So no way. But here it is, there was an invitation. And we said, why not? Because on our own, it would have been impossible to win government, and the UNC would have been on the ascendancy, and we understand that. And we know that by measure for measure, pound for pound, they are far ahead of the PNM. We could have, of course, but No, but apart from that, the PNM said that like, they ain't joining up with anybody. They're so greedy for power. So we were able, of course, to say yes, we will venture into that arrangement that was called for and invited by the political leader then of the, well, and still is, of course, of the UNC, and now Prime Minister, then, of course, was opposition leader. And one of the things that we identified when we were having our brief discussion on the matter, because it didn't take us more than, 45 minutes, just under our, or just above. We spent more time waiting for the meeting than in the meeting itself. Because, of course, they were convinced already that we were good, we would have been a good partner in spite of our minuscule nature and the fact that we are projecting an image or a potential representation for just 3 constituencies. Because we say that we are what? Laventille-based, Laventille-centered. Because we believe that by and large, the people of Laventille may not yet be ready because of the PNM's influence, brainwashing, and of course, their propaganda about the UNC that will make them less attractive or attracted to the UNC. So we thought we should get, of course, our own vehicle called LOVE, Laventille Outreach for Vertical Enrichment. And even in that situation, because April 28 wasn't the first election that we contested, you know. We contested 2 elections before. 2 elections before. Understand that? And whilst we were firm in the philosophical positioning, we probably, as opposed to this time around, even though we still did not win the seat, but we did get greater traction and greater attention and greater exposure. Because I remembered in 2007 when I contested Laventille East Movan, the very seat that Robert Mitchell contested, and now, of course, tomorrow he will be there will be bestowed upon him the, of course, instruments of appointment. One of the things that I remembered very distinctly, 2 things in fact, that many people did not know who we were. 1. 2, in spite of the fact that we spray painted all over Laventille, love, 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 what we did not do was to show the symbol, and we didn't have social media as we have now. All of that, of course, was to a disadvantage. So those who knew, and they voted, but those who didn't, well, of course, they couldn't, because they would have been exposed to 2 other choices, UNC, and of course PNM, because at that time we competed with both major parties in Laventille. And the other thing that struck me, long after the elections, I had cause to have conversation about elections in Laventille with a gentleman. Now, he didn't know who I was. He didn't know that I was a political leader of Love. So he told us, he said, well, he went to vote. He went to vote. And he from Laventille. But he saw a rocket on the ballot paper. A rocket on the ballot paper, which of course is a symbol of love. And he looked and he said, listen, let me vote for them. Not knowing, up to now I have not told him that I am the political leader, but one day I will see him. He does, sometimes he passes along this street here, George Street. So I probably will formally identify myself and say I'm the person, even though you didn't know, but you didn't know who you was voting for, but you voted for us. All right? But those were the 2 takeaways in 2007, or consequence of 2007. But what I'm saying is that one of the things that I told, of course, the political leader of the UNC, when, of course, under the leadership, because we were in a room with everybody there, Julian John, of course, the deputy political leaders, Lee, and of course, Honorable Munilal, now Minister of Energy, of course, of Gillingham, Honorable Minister now of Works, and of course, David Lee, Honorable Minister, now responsible for housing. But one thing I told them is that because of the past, we believe that if we attach our wagon to the UNC, we'll be able, of course, to be more popular. Well, that has happened. But more than that, because we have been on social media up and down the place, of course, Eye on the Ground report, and then I like Salter and everything, and then, of course, we created the pushback movement. We delivered letters, of course, to various institutions that were seen beholding to the PNM and would have been infiltrated, and therefore doing the biddings of the PNM. To cut a long story short, on the 28th, we gained victory. But of course, the UNC accommodated us. And that is why I'm saying that the ultimate graciousness, the ultimate thank you, the ultimate appreciation for the trust reposed in us as a party must go to the political leader of the UNC and the leadership thereof, and the UNC as a whole, having the foresight to invite. And so what has happened tomorrow, Mitchell will now be, of course, getting his instruments of appointment, moving from the grounds or the foothills or the gravels or the raw terrain of Laventille to a boardroom. That is significant. To a boardroom of a national entity, a state enterprise called Rural Development Company. To do what? To make decisions or be part and parcel of making decisions for the country. That is important. Who wouldn't want that? And I'm saying all of this to tell every single Laventillian, every single person from the Beetham Silets and so on, that you too can become a Robert Mitchell in the context of moving from on the block to a boardroom to make decisions for and on behalf of the country. For on behalf of the country. Magnificent. And that is a vision, that's a dream that I have always had, to see as many young people, those who people say they are no damn good and they can't produce anything, and that they could only end up in prison and of course on the wrong side of a gun and all of that. This venture has proven that what is possible with those that would have been either neglected or would have been relegated to nothingness, to say nothing could become. And when I presented him as the candidate for love, I want to tell you this. This is another part that you must understand. Part of his experience was one, in his early days, he was an inmate of YTC. So when we decided in his profile, everybody reading it all over the place, I had the responsibility to pen and to develop the profile. And when he saw it, he said, Mr. Smith, well, you know, don't put YTC now. I had to convince him. The very venture that you are engaged in, YTC mention is a critical component because we want to tell young people that in spite of your early days and your mistakes as a young man, you can still rise to the point where tomorrow a fella could be making decisions on behalf of Trinidad and Tobago in a state enterprise called Rural Development Company Limited. That is the essence. And therefore you must wear that with pride because you are able, of course, to divest yourself of the shackles that would have otherwise impaired your vision and your ambition because you would have attended at some point in time due to some mistake in your early, young, impressionable days. Yeah. Impressionable days. Young man, make a mistake. And here it is, you can rise to the boardroom of a state enterprise in this country. It is valuable lesson to the others who may have similar experience, and more importantly, probably those who have not had that will know that they must not go there. They must try to avoid that and have similar ambition to, of course, reach the boardrooms and the parliament and elsewhere in order to what? Make your contribution to national development. That is what we are talking about. All that is a classic example of all hands on deck. I want to tell you what I told him last night. I said, let me tell you something, young man. You could have never gotten there. The society would have never allowed you to be where you are today. Based on the tradition, based on the culture, based on what is considered to be the best. And I made the comparison with Marcel, the parliamentary representative for Laventille West. I said the man is a lawyer. Here it is, you are a simple, humble, a former YTC graduate. And therefore the society is one that would write you off, but will embrace a fellow like Marcel, only of course to embarrass us in the parliament. Big lawyer from Beetham, and making an ass of himself. Consistently. Well, I suppose you can't blame him from the perspective that he has acclimatized to the normative behavior of a criminal enterprise that is the PNM, that has evolved, that has mutated into such a despicable, opportunistic, predatorial political entity, nothing different to a political kobo. Political koboism, if you want to call it that. But you, who in your early days and growing up to the point where you are today, never thought that you could be where you are today and move in. You have a duty and responsibility, not like Marcel, who got it and then, of course, scuttled it by the venom and the asinine statements. Has nothing to do with adding value, so that people could say, I want to be a lawyer too, and end up there. He has, of course, reduced a philosophy, a concept, which we have created, which we have developed, and that is, why not like St. James. Why not like St. Anne's?
Good night, Lennox.
Then let me just finish this one paragraph. One sentence.
I'll
Not-
call you back.
No, stay. I'm finished. But similar to communities like St. Anne's and so on, and Westmoreland and so on, where you come in contact on a regular basis with lawyers, doctors, of course, pilots, etc. We can do that in Laventille. That is the vision. Let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome, Labrie.
Good night, Lennox. I saw on the interview with Ralph Gonzalez with the AGC housing.
Yes.
I hope all who take part in that they get silver bracelet.
yes. I would wish that as well. Because that's the most despicable.
That.
Yeah. That is another version, another episode of the criminalistic nature and the criminal enterprise that the PNM is. And I said
that is all who in the Caribbean going against Kamala. That has some cahoots with Rowley.
Yeah,
that fowl and chicken cob.
Yeah, and I want to say further that is because of the misguided, specious and stupid and ignoramus belief in those who have assembled themselves under the PNM, Balizé, whatever you want to call it. They believe that they own Trinidad. So they could do that and nobody would question it and then tell us that is good governance. Stealing, you know.
Listen to Arnold this morning.
Yes,
how
go
he
ahead.
bust that mark. I say, yes, man. That's the right man on his show this morning.
Yeah. Just talk to him. I just talked to him there just now. Yeah, I talked to him just now.
All of them who listen from the PNM, who listen to the program,
Yes.
I hope they feel stink because they want to bring up live sport again.
Yes. Yeah. So I have to ask him about that.
I want to, yes.
Yes.
I want to see that the West, see, justice will prevail. Right?
That's right.
It will take some time.
Yeah.
But it have plenty for the PNM that they spend on lavishly, that we can't get nothing.
Yeah. Well,
I can't get home.
lavishly meaning dishonestly.
Mm-hmm.
That's a yes. Lavish dishonesty. But go ahead, yes.
Yeah. They spend nice. So my daughter working and she want a ATC house. She can't get none. But Ralph Gonzalez can get one. Right? So many people want homes and they can't get, but people from St. Vincent, and like we have an Argentinian who in the opposition, he owned property in Trinidad and exempt himself from property tax.
Yes. For 25 years. Yeah, 25 years. Yeah.
Hit them commercial tax, Ms. Kamala. Hit them. We will get back my money. Hit them, all the PNMites and PNM ministers. Hit them the commercial tax. Lennox, nice program.
Thank you very
Have
much.
a nice weekend.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. And I'm always impressed, frankly, with the level of knowledge, awareness, and consciousness of the callers in particular. And I'm sure that for every call, there will be thousands of persons that are in sync or are in agreement. It's just that you cannot have everybody, the thousands of persons, in one program for about 2.5 hours. That simply is not possible. Right? But of course, we can easily take a microcosmic, if you want to call it that, a representative sample, if you want to call it that, so that you can imagine for one person how many thousands of persons out there who are in a similar or who are in a similar agreement with, of course, the callers. So I want to tell you that why? Sorry, I want to say why. Because it is necessary in fact. It is not gaslighting. It is not hoodwinking. It is not deception. It is not circumlocution talk for to wiggle one's way out of a horrendous or terrible situation that is embarrassing. It's called an imbroglio. Let's go to the line. Pleasant good night. The line song nice tonight. A pleasant good night.
Yeah, Lennox. Singing very nice. I hear you.
Yes, man. Thank you. Yes.
Very good. Lennox.
Yes.
Good night, everybody in line. Lennox.
Yay.
What that lady was saying, I will touch a little base on it.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Okay, how money that the former Kamala Isasa, Honorable Kamala Isasa, money in leave in the treasury?
Just over 12 billion resource. Yes, just over 12 billion US dollars, yes, in reserve.
What about the HSC fund? What about the other fund?
Yeah, well, the other fund, just about 6 billion in the Heritage and Civilization Fund, and in excess liquidity in the banks and so on, another 5 billion. Yeah.
Okay, so how much are you looking at? 25 billion?
Yes, roughly speaking.
Roughly. Can they give an account what all that money they spent away, all that money went to?
Well,
they have the money in the treasury?
Of course, if you talk to them, and talk is cheap, they will say yes. But they cannot match the proof, the evidential support, because we have the Auditor General, which is an independent institution, that says, listen, these people could not have accounted for 3 billion, and afterwards 2 point something billion, close to the same 3 billion in income, and a further 1 billion in expenditure. They can't account for it. So I think that answers your question, if I may well say.
Yeah, but that is part of it. That's a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you could multiply that in other words, whichever way you wish to go.
Right. I know what I'm going to say is that. Okay. So what is have to show that what they did with the money, what they built, what they do for the infrastructure, highways, but the cost of money. What they build, what they do, build school, what they build hospital, what they do, fire department, they build up, what they do.
Literally nothing, but I'll tell you this: they focused on things like community centers. I think one or two, one or two libraries. But I want to say that both focus really is an obsolete one. It is not consistent with modern, let's say, facilities for use by human beings, because a computer could easily override a library, right? So there is no need for that.
I'm coming to something here, and I want to
understand. You know what I mean? And of course, in modern societies, you don't use a community center again for weddings and so on. There are too many private entities all over the place. You could go in a mall, you could go, of course, in a downtown setting that will have restaurants and so on. And these facilities are relatively cheap, even though, of course, the community center will be cheaper, but people are so modernized and, of course, mobile. And people wouldn't want, of course, we have a saying in our community, if you hold a wedding in a community center, man, you get so much stormers, you want to know, well, where those people come from who you didn't invite. So it is as but the point I'm making, let me finish here by saying that all of that was really part and parcel of the criminal enterprise called the PNM to choose these projects, because they would have provided opportunities for the generation of slush fund, thief money, in order to, of course, engage in their agenda, whether, of course, to advertise exorbitantly or to finish, or should I say continue, the construction of Balize House. Go ahead.
Right, well, that you were like my part of Balize House, you know.
Obviously, man. That's what it did. That's what it did. Yeah.
If they take the government, let me say something. If they take the government money or the treasury money and they build the Balize house. That belongs to the government of Trinidad. That's what we people about. That don't belong to them.
Yeah, but you have to prove it. You have to prove it. That is what they know may be difficult because it's a private political party is part of the civil society framework of a country. In other words, it is not a governmental institution, even though it exists to go into government. So there's a difference between party and, of course, when the party is in government and the government. That is why they try to generate the separation. But of course, with the PNM, there is no separation. They believe that the treasury is theirs and they will use it whichever way. And the abuse we have seen manifested, Balize House is just one of several.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So everybody that love the PNM, they come there to get rich.
Obviously, and it's a kind of either spoken or unspoken conspiracy, and people find ways and means to extract from the treasury, raid the treasury, and then say, well, look, they went out for public tender of this and that, but of course, ministers' wives, their close associates, their families and so on, end up with the contracts, as we have seen, with, of course, very clear examples, whether it be Imsbert, whether it be, of course, Cummins, who don't know if he coming now or going, whether it be Al-Rari, and we could go on, including, of course, the former Prime Minister, Rowley, of course, apart from Landate, you have, of course, he too recusing himself because of conflict of interest at the level of the cabinet. Go ahead.
Right. If you're working for, now I'm getting something here now, people understand Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
If you are working for $60,000 a month, let's say I put it at a high figure. I put it about $60,000 a month for salary. You're working on salary. You're working on taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
How come you end up with a lot of expensive stuff, condos, and expensive cars, expensive business? Where you get the money from? You get rich overnight?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm following very tenaciously.
And salary, like me, we working for salary. You working for salary, you working for the government, you work for salary. Any government wants everybody. You work for a government, you don't go over there unless you make overtime.
Right.
So where do you get all that money from? I mean, I just put it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to apply common sense and logic, and you will see.
Logic.
And you do your deductive analysis, and you come up with the inescapable conclusion that they would have gotten it illegitimately.
Yeah, you should, right. You should order them.
Yeah.
Where they get all the money. Then Jackson, I talk about Gonzal.
Yeah.
How this is part of it. This is part of it, Lennox. This is what you see right now. But I have more in there, and you will find.
Oh yes.
That's all.
Yeah, we just tipping the iceberg. We just tipping.
This is
That's
tip
the
of the iceberg.
Yeah.
All of them involved. I would say all of them involved.
Yeah, you cannot have a cabinet, my friend. I mean, the evidence is clear. What you need to do is to get, of course, into the probative nature, meaning that the tangible and tactile and, of course, the paper trail and so on will, so that you could go to a court of law and prove your case. But you cannot have, on the face of it alone, over 500 recusal in a cabinet and tell me that it is not an entity that harbors, facilitates, and nurture criminal behavior. Can you tell me that? Now, if you have a situation where one or two, you have a recusal of one or two persons at some point in time and so on, but 500? The Prime Minister alone, I think, is about 12. One fella over, several of them over 100, like people like Stuart Young and Al-Rari. What the hell they feel this is? They feel that they have reinvented Al Capone and the mafia.
The mafia is
I don't
mafia.
understand. They're mad.
Yeah, well,
and they
you see,
justify it, Rowley was justifying that, They're saying that what is required, all you do, you have a conflict of interest, you just walk out, and when that matter is concluded in the cabinet, you walk back in. No, he feel that we are consummate backsides and
Stupid.
asses.
Yeah.
Because
right.
he does not know that we know. He does not know that we know that before they go to cabinet, there will be the information before them, and that there are cell phones, that there are meeting places, that they will go to restaurants and so on, that they will go in maybe the same vehicle and so on, and talk and interact, and therefore have their plans. And when the plans are cooked up, they just come there and the cabinet rubber stamps the entire exercise.
Right, Mr. Lennox.
We have about two callers. There are two callers. So
yeah, okay, I am done. I'm conclude. That's just for you all to think about.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yes, man. All right, let's go to the line. Let's get this one from San Fernando. Mr. San Fernando is here. Pleasant good night. Yes, boy. Go ahead. I have two calls, so we have to be very short. Go ahead.
I'm short, but
Yeah.
I so much I want to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
My lesson when dealing with here tonight is man in the mirror. What I want to say, there was a Vincentian brother who was criticizing Kamala all the time.
Yes.
Lambert, the fellow that really about that man.
Yeah. I think I came across him sometime. Yeah. I came across him sometime. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was wondering if you saw that brother.
Yeah, and there's one from Grenada as well.
Yeah. Lambert, Kamala all the time. But then too, if he's a content,
Well, I assume if he has a modicum of integrity, he will suddenly go silent or conspicuously tone down. Yeah.
But what I want to say is that this brother was lambasting Kamala.
Yes.
But we never taken a look at what we said Vincent Prime Minister and other CARICOM leaders was doing in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
What about the Vincent Prime Minister end up?
Yeah. When you have glass house, don't throw stone. That's right.
And then too, I also dealing with the very crass behavior of Rowley. Right? Now, even though we know that the convincing Prime Minister, he made a comment by using something like
Yeah, he said dirty water does not cannot affect gold. Yeah, dirty water cannot affect gold. Yeah.
But then when you look at the crash comment that Rowley made, I mean,
yeah, he said that the entire exercise he will normally use a shovel to scoop up. Yeah.
A person who have led Trinidad and Tobago, and that's why he really had to resign.
Yeah.
So, or come out of it, and yet still, even though he come out of it, he's still making comments as though, he wants to run the government again.
Yeah, but I take a different view. I think that he is saying these things because he cannot stand his own iniquities and sins that he would have committed. So he figure he has to talk out. He has demonstrated that in government when he would normally use aggression as the best form of defense. All right. Yeah. Okay then. Yes. Thanks. All right. Let's go to the next caller. Sorry about that. I would like to get this caller in particular. All right, but let's go to Mr. Digo Martin. A pleasant good night.
Good night.
Yeah, sorry, but I'll be busy tonight, boy.
I think me and you, both of us, have to see a man. could recall 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
I mentioned to you the diplomatic missions we had.
Mm.
We had one in Guyana and we had one in Venezuela.
Right.
And I alluded to possible nefarious action with respect to monies passing through these accounts.
Yeah. Incidentally, as you talk that AGC man and Udicott man, he's back out of the country again. He's back in Africa again. That's what they do. They
Alright.
the layer is in Africa or some foreign country that may not have any extradition arrangement with Trinidad. And when the PNM seem to be on the ascendancy, they fly back in and say and absolve themselves. Well, we will have none of it now and in the future. But go ahead.
Now, but
Yeah.
coming back to more recent development, you know that fella named Rat Gonzalez?
Yeah.
It was alleged by Douglas that that man has a piece of real estate that is rented to the Venezuelan diplomatic mission.
Yeah, his wife, yes.
in Venezuela. Now, consider this scenario. It costs the real estate rental values $1,000, and I get it $3,000 for it. Why is that? Not with FOCO and some nefarious activity. So we
Yeah.
have always been trying to find out
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
are these CARICOM people so close to Maduro? He's buying and paying for the loyalty. Now, we have to see if that same sort of good track exists with that mission, the Venezuelan mission, in Trinidad also.
Yeah.
It's, you know, these missions are protected from prosecution.
Oh yes, yes.
They are
They
all
come
black.
as though the
So-
physical
so-
building
so
that
we
that
have-
space that they occupy is considered to be sacrosanct. Nobody in the local scenario could interfere with them. Go ahead.
No, and you have to understand that this fella they call Ralphie and the family, they acquire the house through a lottery. You know, remember AGC used to have lottery? So I want him to buy a lotto ticket for me because they're real lucky. And as see, the Chupsin former Prime Minister Randall Mitchell defended them. And when people went to him, remember he was chooped in at them when they asked for house?
Yeah.
You remember that scenario? So something is wrong, and I'm glad our Prime Minister saying it is being investigated
Yeah.
because his son, as he said in our program in St. Vincent, that his son is a businessman and he bought it to rent it sometimes.
Yeah.
Is that what should I say? Really nefarious activity, because one of the things I believe with agency, you can't be, even though people is doing, is against the policy and the contract to rent a property that you have been given to the ST because it's subsidized. Subsidized, so you get it cheaper.
Yeah.
I got think on. I really mix about this thing. I got.
Oh gosh. Caller. Yeah. All right. I think he is finished. I saw another person calling. I think Mr. San Fernando. Call back, Mr. San Fernando. I was laughing at the end of that presentation because it's so ironical. It's so asinine. It's so ludicrous. It's so laughable. It's so filled with all kinds of intrigue. Because here it is, Rowley jump out and say, well, listen, those keys, those properties were upgraded by the UNC, I think, to the tune of $2 million. But they sell it to Gonzalez, what I consider to be family members for less than that. We're only failing to see, as the last caller said, the subsidizing by taxpayers that cause, on the face of it, in normal circumstance, a citizen to get that benefit of a reduction of the true cost. But of course, while they claim to be Trinbagonians, the fact of the matter is that you cannot say on the one hand, they pay market price, market value, they put it on the market. Well, I want to tell Rowley, all of the rental mortgage accommodations constructed by HDC can be easily categorized as being on the market because people go in and buy it. People go in and pay for it. People go in and pay for them. The fact of the matter is, it does not take away the fact that it is subsidized to make it much more affordable for citizens to get, whether it be one that is over $1 million or one that is around 300 or 400 or $500,000. Doesn't matter. It has been structured that way because that is the purpose and function of the HDC, to provide accommodation, not market value. Because the same accommodation, those very people, if they went private, would have to pay what? Upwards of nearly $20 million. Go for yourself and price it, and you will see. Go and price any part of West Port of Spain, not East Port of Spain, West Port of Spain, right down to West Morins. It's 20 million, 10 million, not 1 million or 1 point something million. So the argument is flawed, it is asinine, it is of course specious at best, but at worst, a blatant gaslighting, hoodwinking exercise that has failed miserably and repetitively by Rowley during the course of his tenure as Prime Minister. Let's not waste time. Lies after lies. The other issue, of course, is the question of the criteria of having owned property. And in this particular case, they are trying to say that, listen, because they focus, of course, in Trinidad, what that means. They were saying that, listen, they own property outside of Trinidad as a Trinbagonian, and therefore one must not be seen as ineligible to get accommodation because it is not in Trinidad. But there's a difficulty with that too, because evidence has surfaced that the accommodation given to his wife, Gonzalez's wife, there is evidence that she owns the property in Trinidad. So therefore, does not qualify. But even if that is not so, we have the issue of Storm. I believe Storm is his son's name. BIR is saying that he's earning $300,000 a month or something like that as a real estate developer, but doesn't have in a part of his file a BIR number. So he can be a Trinbagonian by birth, or almost said by boat, but by birth. But there is some what I consider to be favorable and underhand and special attention with a waiver of certain criteria to accommodate the Gonzal or the Gonzales or Gonzales, wherever the family prefer to call themselves. So there's much, much, much more in the mortar than the pestle in that regard. All right, so the line is open, of course, at 337-6940. Don't forget, of course, to share. I start back to do that because, of course, I think we have a level of consistency. One, and two, of course, the programming changes that we would have made going forward, and of course in recent times, as we of course tested. Now we are ready to offload, of course, the whole question of our virtual school, where of course we'll be advancing some subjects, including of course that of the school even exam for the objective of what being functionally literate. That's the objective. A pleasant good night for adults, of course. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night to you, Mr. Lennox, as usual.
Yes, good night to you, my friend.
Good night to Mr. Joshua too.
yes.
Yeah.
He's a bundle of joy.
yeah. And that is good. And it's good to hear that your candidate pulled through with some sort of good things to prove yourself as what you always know is. Like one thing with you, you're that man who doesn't know what you're about. You always know what you're about. And
yes,
that
man.
is very good.
Yeah. There are going to be the doubting Toms, and and I always look at the lessons of Jesus Christ and other famous people, Mandela, etc., and realize that at times, there are going to be the doubting Toms, and there are those who are going to dissuade, and those who are going to jealous, and those who are going to put obstacles in the way. But at the end of the day, once you're focused, once you are determined, and once you have a strategy, obviously, because you have to have a brain on your head, in your head, yes, you will be able to succeed ultimately. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you know something too? This time, the storm that was coming to hit Trinidad, getting that house, but I know we have mountain and with a redirect storm. Jamaica who can't take that storm, but we have Alan Roberts could tell you where that storm coming to.
Yeah. Weight is formed. The weight is formed. Weight was formed. The amount of heat that is in the political waters to strengthen it and to have it, of course, deposit as much rain as possible and impact on the land in terms of floods, in terms of slides, and in terms of total disaster. Right? So I hear you. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. He lucky it in Trinidad. It was in Jamaica. He had the roof blow.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, boy. So right now, Gonzalo now quaking in a boost. He will try to discredit Alan Roberts because not really Roberts. He had a problem with He had a problem with the people with the opposition in St. Vincent and Grenadines because they have an election coming up.
Yeah, that is the issue. So he has to play to the local audience to try to distance himself, try to obfuscate, try to offload that boogeyman elsewhere. Yeah. So he hit you something like Rowley, Rowley will make a confession hoping that he gets sympathy, You know that? Yeah, because I mean, the first time I hear Rowley, I said, oh, good. Now, I had to pay attention to this man. He said that somebody want to kill him. He said somebody want to kill him. Want to assassinate him in the market in Tobago. And they got it for him. Now, all that time, I didn't know that the email matter, the email fiasco was in fact a fake presentation. All that time I didn't know. But I started watching the man. Because he calls these things onto himself, like he would say, some somebody said I said this, and they are always an expert, and they start with, of course, I know this, and then of course they end up saying, and then they finally end up saying they don't know. But speak to me. I am the source, and then he will tell us things like not one contractor for the government worked on the Balize house, not one.
Yes.
and then we have the evidence, of course, Jusamco, the unfortunately, and he's so sour, like when it come in, it has come like an avalanche at him.
Yes.
The same contractor is the one the government hired to build the mosquito crack that fell into the swamp below.
Yes.
A whole highway fall into the swamp below. From a contractor that he say was never engaged on the Balize house, but we see them pouring concrete on the foundation, far less for the superstructure. This man is a hell of a nasty man.
That man say he sell ticket, He stand in front and sell ticket too,
Yes.
That man say that,
Yeah, and poor sleepyhead Hines. He is the best salesman in the world. He sell all them tickets. And whilst we were saying, well, for you to sell all that tickets, it means that you closed down National Lottery Board for about a year. For all your loan to get all that money. Yeah? Get the $100 million and counted after all they was totally broken. Well, boy.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Asman, let me just tell you this.
Go ahead.
You know that Trump and Maduro come to a deal?
No, I'm not familiar. No, I can't say that. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I get a little insight in that. I don't want to say too much on it yet.
Okay.
Because I don't dig in it further. But here, not this Tuesday, last week, Tuesday, they make a deal in Qatar. I hear Colombia was involved in it too, and some other people too.
Okay.
Was involved in it, that they come to a conditional deal. But what happened now? They kind of keep it underneath because, boy, Russia influence, China influence, Cuba influence, and also Iran. Deadly thing inside Venezuela right now, right? And you would have heard that the Americans sending CIA men inside it.
Yes.
Right? And they bring down the Gerald Ford. But people thinking, well, it's ready to attack Maduro. But right now they have to try to protect Maduro because the Russian influence inside it, they're sending the Wagner group. And the Wagner who nearly assassinated Putin,
Yeah.
And Putin had was a grant immunity and he sent them to Turkey. Right? But he come now and he killed the leader by making him thinking he will talk to him, and he blew him out of the sky. Right? That the Wagner leader.
Yes.
But here what's going on? China approximately they lend Venezuela about 60 billion US. That's about 342 billion TTT dollars.
Yeah.
And they're getting a feedback to the oil. So they're not paying back any loan. Them taking oil for their money.
Right.
Right? But Russia now builds from some infrastructure and have like have built airport and runway and some of the oil installation. So they want to stop that deal, because if the deal comes through, Russia will be out of it. How the deal make now?
Yeah.
Right? So right now, Russia trying to stop that deal, and there's a possibility they could assassinate Maduro and blame it on the US, or assassinate this boy, what they call Juan Guaido, was the former opposition leader and the woman who is the opposition leader presently now.
Yeah.
So that's why now America sending the CIA right now inside it, ready to protect them, that to take out Maduro, right? I don't want to talk too much now because I know other people want to say something, but we will talk better on this. Right? I'll give some real insighting on
thank you very much.
I know about the deal here, but I don't want to say nothing yet.
All right,
okay.
Good. I'll do some independent verification as well if I can get it. But I want to say categorically that if Maduro goes, there is a formidable opposition waiting there. All the talking, and Maduro is able to bring out his party members too, as is usual, because he's in government and he's going to suppress the opposition. But let him be removed. You see how the streets of Caracas will be filled, and the entire country will be in a unanimous outburst of joy, of happy riddance, as was the case in Trinidad when Rowley left. So I am not fooled or in any way naive with the theatrics and the glitters and the superficialities. You have to dig deeper. Professor, good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night, Doctor.
Good night, my friend.
Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. Good night, worldwide. Doctor, let me change the program a little bit now, please.
No problem, man. This is your program. When I say you, I mean everybody who calls in. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Thank you. Now, it concerning the football, right? Trinidad and Tobago, right, to Jamaica.
Yes.
I want the players of Trinidad and Tobago to know that I know that the thief them in Jamaica. You understand?
Right.
And I want the Trinidad and Tobago team to know, and Dwight York and Latapi. I want them to know. As I say, the thief them, and I want them to know we could beat that side. The first goal. You see the first goal, what we score on Jamaica? I want them to know that's a boss goal. You understand? I'm really impressed with the Trinidad team. You understand? Right. And Dwight York and Latapian are doing a very good job. All right? And now, is nothing wrong or nothing bad to lose, because you can't win everything. You win some and you lose some.
Yeah.
But you see, when you lose fighting, lose with passion. You know what I mean?
Lose honorably. You lose honorably. Right.
Right.
So you put in everything into it and you fail, and people will understand that. Yes.
Right. Because you can't win, right?
Yeah.
But I want Trinidad and Tobago to know, and the team and Latapi and York to know we have a better side than them, and we could beat them. And as I say, we know the thiefers down in Jamaica. All right?
Thank you.
All right. So thank you, brother. And stay strong.
Yes.
I don't have to call you King or call you Dr. Bao, call you Doctor.
I hear you, my friend. Thank you very much, of course, for the confidence that you repose in me. Of course, for reasons, of course, better known to him. I trust that others may have a similar disposition as to why he is saying what he is saying. But maybe that's a good note to end on. We want to wish the boys all the best tomorrow. In that encounter with the Jamaicans. The Jamaicans, of course, will want to sort of salvage and maybe vicariously send back home some joy, having regard, of course, to the hurricane that devastated particularly the western part of that island. So I know that there's a lot at stake, but it is about, of course, trying to get to the World Cup. And so Trinidad and Tobago will not let up, in spite of the fact that the Jamaicans may come here with their own travails and their own difficulty. That is, of course, very profound. We sympathize with them, but this is a game that Trinidad must win. And therefore, of course, all Trinbagonians will be back in. I want to say, of course, the gentleman. Let me say that one time. The gentleman says somewhere in Laventille went to the Ministry of Sports and they had some tickets for love. They had some tickets for us. I'm not going to say how much. And I understand that he told the person who is supposed to be doing the issuance that he knows us. Tomorrow night I will call the name. So you better call us. The number is on the screen. Call us and let us know it's you. You cannot do those things. That is dishonest, as you know. And while we appreciate that tickets may be scarce and you may feel that you need to go and see the game, there are others who are depending on those tickets because they did what they had to do in order to get them. And you, in a fit of supreme selfishness, decide to take all the tickets. Who knows? I'm very magnanimous. I may well say take one or two, but to take all of the tickets that was assigned to us, no, that is all for. I want to thank, of course, those persons who are saying that, they acknowledge it and there are certain, of course, should I say, actions that have been taken to try to see if they could resolve the matter. But that guy, because he's a fella that, of course, took those tickets, that was assigned to love, saying you're from Laventille and you know them fellas. Yeah, please do the honorable thing. That's all I can say. People, of course, have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. See you tomorrow night as well. And, of course, don't forget tomorrow morning, the ground report, Andy, Mikey, and myself as we continue with these and other issues. Sorry about that. We can't take any more calls. Of course, it's after 9:30. So, and I think we would have given you back some time now. Let me see. It's 45. So, therefore, we gave you back at least 15 minutes from as a consequence of the late start. That being as it may, let's end as we started. And here we go.
Now foundation grassroots, you got to know the truth. If you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where to go. Love culture, Anthony Selassie. Say so. Long ago. Long time ago. Yes, long ago. Pirates had their fun in the burning sun. 16 men and a dead man's chase. Yo, yo, yo. And a bottle of rum. Summertime. Yo, yo, yo. Yo. Now every man and a Janakins jumps like a bat. They come up on the base and now them come here with the flat. But they push me down the bottom, but we rise up to the top. And now them cannot turn me back because we pull up every gap. Cut me by the belly and the money them a bet. This is what kind of baby, mama she a get shot. Is it a king? Is it a princess? So you see me generation travel through the stress. 16 days and a dead man's chase. Yo, 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 yo. Sounds kind of funny, but that's true. Yes, long ago, pirates had their fun in the